Thousands of years ago, deep within the forest, sat the quiet ashram of Maharishi Atri, known across the cosmos for its matriarch, Mata Anasuya. Anasuya treated every visitor as a physical appearance of the divine. To her, serving a guest was equivalent to serving God himself. This was her atithi dharma, an absolute duty that could never be ignored. Her second pillar of identity was her pativrata dharma, a fierce, uncompromising dedication to moral purity and loyalty to her husband. These virtues provided her entire spiritual authority. She had built her existence around them, which made these two codes both her greatest strength and her only vulnerability. One afternoon, while Maharishi Atri is away, three mysterious radiant ascetics appear at the ashram gates. Anasuya immediately initiates the ancient guest protocol. She welcomes them in, washes their feet, and begins preparing a meal. But as she moves to serve the food, the sages stop her. They refuse to eat unless she agrees to one specific condition. They demand she serve them their meal without wearing any clothes. This places her guest duty in direct opposition to her vow of purity. Fulfilling the guest's desire clashes with her commitment to remain chaste. Turning them away denies a hungry guest, while compliance violates her deepest vow. Both paths lead to ruin. This is a calculated moral checkmate. Her own virtues have been used against her, leaving no obvious way to preserve her character. Rather than yielding to panic or anger, Anasuya closes her eyes. She taps into her tapa ball, the immense spiritual energy she has accumulated through years of discipline. In her meditative state, the disguise fades. She realizes the men standing in her courtyard are the universe's creators and destroyers, Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. Even with this revelation, she exhibits total emotional restraint. She feels no pride at being tested by the Supreme Trinity, and no resentment at their trick. Instead, she quietly summons her immense spiritual energy. A sudden, blinding flash of divine light completely floods the entire ashram. When the light clears, the towering ascetics are gone. Lying on the floor in their place are three helpless, crying infants. By exerting her spiritual will, she has stripped the supreme beings of their cosmic authority and reduced them to the most dependent state in existence. This illustrates how introducing motherhood changes the moral landscape. With the men transformed into infants, the conflict between her duties dissolves. Because a mother can nurse her children without shame, the chastity violation no longer applies. Both her vows remain completely intact. She proceeds to fulfill her duty, picking up the infant gods and feeding them with genuine maternal love rather than the spite of a victor. Her victory was an exercise of both divine power and moral wisdom. She used her energy not to bypass the law, but to find a resolution within the sanctuary of motherhood. Up in the cosmic realms, the balance of the universe tilts. The goddesses, Saraswati, Lakshmi, and Parvati, realize their husbands have vanished. The three divine goddesses track their husbands to the earthly realm, eventually arriving at the humble forest ashram. They find the mighty lords of creation resting quietly in a mortal woman's lap. The goddesses fold their hands and plead for their husbands to be released. The supreme deities had descended to test a human. Now their own wives are forced to ask that same human for mercy. Anasuya asks for no ransom or apology. Without a trace of ego, she grants the goddess's request and restores the three infants to their divine forms. Deeply moved by her grace, the Trinity grants her a boon. She asks for them to be born as her children, leading to the birth of the divine avatars Dattatreya, Som, and Durvasa. Anasuya possessed the spiritual energy to command the forms of the supreme gods, yet she used that power only to nurture and preserve her path. The story reveals that the most invincible strength belongs to those who possess absolute authority, but choose to govern it with compassion and a complete absence of ego.